All right, let's dive right into the heart of modern web design, CSS layouts. We're going to really get to know the two powerhouse tools that have, no joke, completely changed the way we build websites, Flexbox and Grid. You know that feeling, right? When you're just trying to get one little thing perfectly centered on a page, and it feels like you're wrestling with an impossible puzzle box? Yeah, for a long time, that's exactly what it was like. I mean, back in the day, we had to rely on these clunky workarounds like floats and absolute positioning. It was a mess, and it often created more problems than it solved. But thankfully, the game has totally changed. So let's crack open the modern toolkit and see how layout has become so much more intuitive and powerful. Okay, first tool out of the box is Flexbox. Now, the best way to think about Flexbox is to see it as your specialist. It's an absolute master of alignment, but in a single direction. So what is it really? Well, the official definition says it's all about making it more efficient to lay out, align, and distribute space. And that is so important, especially when you don't know how big your items are going to be or if they're going to change on the fly. And here it is. This is the absolute core concept you have to get. Flexbox thinks in one dimension at a time. It's either managing a row or it's managing a column. It never, ever does both at once. And you know what? That is both its greatest strength and its one key limitation. But sticking to that one dimension gives it some serious superpowers. You can flip the direction of items with one line of code. You get these incredibly powerful tools for alignment and justification. And, my favorite part, the items themselves can be flexible, growing and shrinking to perfectly fill up the space. Now, to really get a handle on Flexbox, you gotta understand these two ideas. You've got the main axis. That's the primary direction you're working in, your row or your column. Then you've got the cross axis, which is just the other one, the one that runs perpendicular. Literally, all of Flexbox's alignment magic is based on how you play with these two axes. All right, so that's our specialist. But what happens when you need to build the whole house, not just line up the furniture in one room? Well, for that, we bring out the master architect. Grid. This tool is designed for planning the entire blueprint of your page.
So, we've established that Flexbox is the undisputed champion of single-axis layout.
But Grid just strolls onto the scene and masters two dimensions at the same time. I mean, it's built from the ground up to handle both rows and columns simultaneously. And let me tell you, that is a complete game changer for building complex websites. And yeah, the official definition totally backs this up. Grid is a full-on layout system. It's made for those robust, complex pages where you need pinpoint control over that two-dimensional space. This two-dimensional power unlocks some incredible features. You can define your grid down to the pixel, or just let the browser figure it out. You get perfect control over the spacing, the tracks, and the gaps between your elements. You can even layer items right on top of each other. It's amazing. And visually, it's really as simple as you'd imagine. Think of a spreadsheet or a simple table. We've got clearly defined rows and columns, and that lets us place content with incredible precision, pretty much anywhere we want inside that structure. So, of course, this brings us to the big question. It's the one that everybody asks when they're starting out. Which one am I supposed to use, Flexbox or Grid? Okay, and the most important thing to get straight in your head is this. Stop thinking of it as a competition. It's not Flexbox versus Grid. It's about looking at the job you need to do and then picking the right tool for that specific job. And this little breakdown really makes the choice simple. You're going to want to use Flexbox for those smaller, one-dimensional tasks. Think lining up the links in a navigation bar. And use Grid for the big, two-dimensional picture, the overall layout of an entire page with its header, sidebar, and footer. But here's where we get into true mastery. The best developers out there, they don't just choose one or the other. No, they make them work together as a team. And that really is the most crucial point of all. These two are not rivals fighting over the same job. They are partners. They're a dream team, designed to perfectly complement each other's strengths. So what's the secret sauce? Well, the modern workflow is actually a pretty simple two-step process. First, you use Grid to build the main architectural sections of your page, the big boxes. Then, once you have your structure, you use Flexbox to handle the alignment of all the stuff inside each of those boxes. And here's that exact workflow in action. See? Grid creates the two main columns for us, the sidebar and the main content area. Then, Inside that content area, Flexbox takes over to perfectly stack and align all those individual items. It's literally the best of both worlds. And look, at the end of the day, getting good at these tools isn't just a nice-to-have skill. It's absolutely essential for any modern developer. This is how you build those slick, responsive designs that look incredible on any screen.
So, if you remember just one thing from all of this, let it be this little analogy. Use Grid to build the bookshelf, and use Flexbox to arrange the books on each shelf. It really is that simple.
So now you have the blueprint. You've got the tools to create pretty much any layout you can dream up for the modern web. The only question left is, what amazing things are you going to build with them?